Imagine a world where billions of dollars in vital support, designed specifically for you, sits untouched. A silent fortune, unclaimed, simply because most people don't even know it exists. For individuals living with disabilities, this isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's a stark, shocking reality. Every single year, countless aid programs, resources, and financial lifelines go completely unutilized, leaving millions struggling unnecessarily. We're talking about opportunities that could transform lives, alleviate immense financial burdens, and unlock true independence. But they remain shrouded in obscurity, hidden in plain sight. Are you, or someone you know, missing out on thousands, even millions, in assistance that's rightfully yours, simply due to a lack of critical information? Prepare to have your understanding of disability aid completely reshaped, because what we're about to uncover might just be the most shocking truth you've heard all year. Let's pull back the curtain on some of these federal gold mines, programs that are so crucial, so impactful, yet remain surprisingly underapplied for. First up, Vocational Rehabilitation Services, or VR. Now, if you've heard of VR, you might picture it as just job training for people with disabilities, a place you go if you're looking for employment. But that narrow definition is precisely why so many miss out on its true, astonishing scope. VR isn't just about getting a job, it's about comprehensive support for anyone with a disability to work or stay employed, regardless of their current employment status. Think about that for a moment. This means if you have a disability and you're already working, but you need an accommodation, a specialized piece of equipment, or even further education to maintain your job or advance your career, VR can step in. They can fund college tuition, provide assistive technology like specialized software or adaptive keyboards, cover transportation costs to and from work or training, offer counseling, and even help with job placement. It's an incredibly adaptable program designed to bridge gaps and empower individuals to thrive in the workforce, yet its full potential is rarely tapped because people assume their situation doesn't fit the mold. It's a vast reservoir of support, often overlooked, that can be a game changer for professional and personal growth. Next, let's talk about Housing Choice Vouchers, commonly known as Section 8. This is a program many are familiar with, but here's the critical detail that often goes unnoticed. Having a disability can give you priority access. Yes, you heard that right. While waiting lists for Section 8 can be notoriously long, many public housing authorities, PHAs, have specific preferences for individuals with disabilities, recognizing their unique housing needs and often limited income. This means that if you have a disability, you might be moved up the list significantly, dramatically increasing your chances of receiving a voucher that helps cover a substantial portion of your rent. This isn't just about finding an apartment, it's about securing stable, affordable housing, which is the cornerstone of independence and well-being. Far too many people with disabilities dismiss Section 8, believing the wait list is insurmountable or that they won't qualify, without ever realizing this crucial preference exists. It's a key that can unlock access to safe, affordable homes, a fact that remains surprisingly underpublicized. And finally, in this section, we expose the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. This program is a vital, yet frequently ignored, lifeline for managing utility bills. For individuals with disabilities, especially those with chronic conditions that require specific climate control, think about conditions exacerbated by extreme heat or cold, or those requiring medical equipment that uses significant electricity. LIHEAP isn't just a convenience, it's a necessity. It provides financial assistance to help low-income households, including those with disabilities, pay for heating and cooling costs, weatherization, and even energy crisis assistance. The shocking truth is that many eligible individuals simply aren't aware of LIHEAP's existence or assume it's only for the elderly or families with young children. But the reality is, if your disability impacts your income or creates additional energy needs, LIHEAP could be a critical component of your financial stability, preventing the impossible choice between paying for medication and keeping the lights on. It's a fundamental program, often overlooked, that offers direct financial relief where it's desperately needed. Now, let's peel back another layer and uncover secrets beyond Washington, delving into the powerful, yet often complex world of state and local aid. These programs are tailored to regional needs and can offer truly transformative support. First, we need to talk about state-specific Medicaid waivers. If the word Medicaid makes your eyes glaze over or you think you don't qualify, prepare to be surprised. These waivers are incredibly valuable, often less restrictive than traditional Medicaid, and designed to provide services that help individuals remain in their homes and communities rather than being institutionalized. We're talking about in-home care, personal attendant services, adult day health care, specialized medical equipment, transportation, and even home modifications. Each state has different waivers, often targeting specific populations or conditions, and their eligibility criteria can vary widely. The shocking truth is that many people who wouldn't qualify for standard Medicaid due to income or asset limits can qualify for a waiver because these programs often have higher income thresholds or different asset rules. They are the backbone of independent living for countless individuals, offering a level of personalized support that is truly life-changing, yet navigating their complexity means many eligible individuals never even apply. It's a labyrinth, but one with a pot of gold at its center. What most veterans don't realize is that these inconsistencies are fixable if you catch them first. You have every right to review and explain anything in your record that could raise doubt. For example, if one provider downplays your symptoms or suggests an alternative cause, submit a written clarification. Add a personal statement that explains the context. Maybe they misunderstood your job duties, or maybe you didn't share the full history at the time. Supplement it with records that show the bigger picture, especially from providers who support your claim. The VA isn't just looking for documentation, they're looking for consistency. A clean narrative, symptoms that show up over time, diagnoses that connect clearly to your history, and statements that don't leave them guessing. And the more time passes between service and your claim, the more they scrutinize every detail. They'll want to know why there were gaps in care, why you didn't report something sooner, or why different providers describe your condition in different ways. It's not enough to have evidence, you need aligned evidence. That means reviewing your own files the way a rater would. Does the timeline make sense? Does each record support the one before it? Are there any phrases that could be interpreted the wrong way? Because the VA won't assume the best. They'll assume the easiest path to denial. So, if you want your claim to survive the first round of review, clean up the confusion before they find it. One sentence can be all it takes to shift the outcome. And once it's denied, the road back is a lot longer than most people realize. There's a quiet deadline in the VA system that catches veterans off guard, and missing it can delay your claim for months or even years. It's not the initial filing deadline or the appeals window most people know about. This one hides in the fine print. When the VA sends you a request for more information like a form, additional evidence, or a compensation and pension exam, you often only have 30 days to respond. And if you miss it, even by a day, the consequences can be brutal. Here's how it plays out. You file your claim. A few weeks later, you get a letter asking for more records or scheduling a CNP exam. You think, no problem, I'll get to it soon. But between life, work, health issues, and the VA's slow mail system, it's easy to underestimate how fast that deadline approaches. If you don't respond in time, the VA considers your claim abandoned or closed due to failure to cooperate. That doesn't just slow things down, it resets your entire timeline. You may have to start from scratch with a new claim and a new effective date, which could mean losing months or even years of potential back pay. And the worst part? The VA doesn't always send reminders. They won't call to check if you got the letter. They won't extend the deadline unless you specifically request it. And even then, you need a good reason and solid documentation to support the delay. If you miss your CNP exam and don't reschedule in time, they can, and often will, decide your claim based on the existing evidence, which rarely works in your favor. So what's the fix? Treat every piece of VA mail like it's urgent. As soon as you receive a request, mark the due date. Don't wait for a second notice. Submit what they ask for quickly, even if it's incomplete, and follow up with additional records later if needed. And if you're working with a VSO or representative, notify them immediately. They can help track your response and follow up with the VA. If you're dealing with delays and can't gather everything by the deadline, submit a request for extension along with a short statement explaining your situation. It won't always be granted, but it's better than letting the deadline pass silently. The VA system isn't built for flexibility. It's built for process, and if you miss your window, the process restarts, often from the very beginning. This small oversight, ignoring a deadline buried in legal language or assuming you have more time, has cost veterans years of frustration and lost benefits. Don't let it happen to you, because in the VA's eyes, silence equals surrender. There's one detail in VA claims that veterans consistently overlook, yet it plays a massive role in how fast or how slow your case moves. It's not your service records, your diagnosis, or even your medical evidence. It's how well your condition is connected to your service and whether you've explained that connection clearly and consistently. The VA calls it the nexus, and without it, your claim can stall indefinitely even if everything else looks solid. Here's the thing most veterans don't realize. Just having a medical condition isn't enough. The VA needs a direct, undeniable link between your current diagnosis and something that happened during your time in the military. That link is the nexus. If the VA doesn't see a clear cause and effect relationship spelled out in the evidence, ideally by a medical professional, your claim is likely to be denied or sit in limbo while they wait for clarification. Take, for example, a veteran who files a claim for back pain that developed years after service. The records might show current treatment and even chronic pain, but if there's no clear line connecting that pain to a documented injury, incident, or strain during active duty, the VA may not grant service connection. This is where a nexus letter from your doctor can make or break your claim. A strong nexus letter clearly states that your current condition is at least as likely as not related to your military service, and it backs that opinion with reasoning and evidence. The mistake happens when veterans assume the connection is obvious. Maybe it is to them. Maybe it even seems obvious to a doctor. But the VA doesn't operate on assumptions. If your records don't explicitly spell out that link, the claims processor isn't going to fill in the blanks for you. They'll either request more information, which causes long delays, or deny the claim outright, citing a lack of medical nexus. So, how do you avoid this trap? Start by gathering documentation early. Make sure your service records mention any relevant incidents, injuries, or exposures. Then, talk to your doctor, not just about your symptoms, but about your military history and how it might be connected to your current health. If your doctor agrees there's a link, ask for a formal nexus letter. There are templates online, but what matters most is that the letter is specific, logical, and backed by your records. Also, double-check that your story is consistent across all paperwork. If your personal statement says the injury happened in one place and your doctor says another, the VA will notice. Inconsistencies can slow down your claim or get it tossed out completely. This part of the process feels like a formality, but it isn't. It's one of the most critical elements of a successful claim, and it's where far too many veterans hit a wall. They submit everything they think the VA needs, but without a solid nexus, the whole case stalls out. Don't let yours be one of them. Connecting the dots clearly, early, and accurately could be the key to unlocking years of benefits that are rightfully yours. Here's the part almost no one talks about, but it can quietly destroy your chances before the VA even looks at your evidence. It's the moment when you start relying on the wrong kind of help. Whether it's a well-meaning friend, an unqualified rep, or even a paid consultant who promises fast results, trusting the wrong source can lead to delays, denials, or worse, getting flagged for potential fraud without realizing it. The VA system is complex, yes, but that's exactly why you need someone who understands it inside and out. A common mistake veterans make is thinking any veteran service officer, VSO, or advisor is automatically qualified to handle their claim. But not all VSOs are created equal. Some don't stay up to date with changing regulations. Others take on too many clients and don't give your case the attention it needs. And, unfortunately, Some are simply not competent enough to navigate the paperwork and evidence the right way. Then there's another risk, trusting organizations that promise fast-track claims or charge high fees up front. These groups often target vulnerable veterans, using language that sounds official, offering to review or build your claim for cost. The VA does not require you to pay anything to file a claim, and legitimate representatives are usually accredited through the VA and only get paid if they win your appeal. Getting bad advice isn't just inconvenient. It can lead to poorly written statements, incomplete forms, or evidence that hurts more than it helps. Worse, if someone files false or exaggerated information on your behalf, even without your full knowledge, the VA may investigate your entire claim for fraud. That can delay your benefits for years or permanently disqualify you from compensation. One mistake, even made with good intentions, can cost you everything. If you're unsure who to trust, ask for their VA accreditation. Reputable VSOs like those from DAV, VFW, AMVETS, or state-run veteran offices have trained representatives with experience in the system. And they'll never pressure you, charge you up front, or file anything without your full understanding and permission. You work hard for your benefits. You deserve a process that's handled with accuracy, honesty, and care. Don't let the wrong person speak for you, especially when the stakes are this high. Take your time to vet the person helping you, because one wrong move on your paperwork can cost you more than just time. It can cost you your future. There's one more mistake veterans make that seems harmless at first, until it completely derails everything they've worked for. It happens when you stop following up on your claim. You file the paperwork, submit your evidence, maybe even go to a compensation and pension exam, and then silence. Weeks turn into months. You assume no news is good news. But in the VA system, no response doesn't mean progress. It often means something's wrong and your file is stuck. The VA isn't obligated to notify you every time your claim stalls. Maybe they're waiting for additional evidence. Maybe they've scheduled an exam and sent a notice you missed. Or maybe your file just landed on someone's desk and hasn't moved in weeks. It happens more often than you think. And if you're not actively checking your status, you might miss deadlines, overlook errors, or even lose your right to appeal. Even worse, if the VA sends you a request for more information and you miss the response window, your entire claim can be closed out as incomplete. No payout, no explanation, just back to square one. Think of your claim like a fragile process on a timer. Every step counts, and silence is rarely a good sign. You don't need to harass the VA or call every day, but you do need to stay involved. Create an account on va.gov or eBenefits and check regularly. Make sure your contact info is always up to date. Open every letter. Read it carefully. If something doesn't make sense, get help right away. There are thousands of veterans who've waited years, only to find out their claim was denied months ago, and they missed their appeal deadline because they weren't checking. Don't let that happen to you. You've already done the hard part. Serving your country, enduring the physical and emotional impact, and starting the claim. Don't let the final step slip through your fingers because of a lack of follow-up. Stay alert. Stay engaged. Because sometimes the difference between getting denied and finally getting what you deserve is just one missed letter. If there's one thing this entire process teaches us, it's that even a single overlooked detail can cost you years of waiting, thousands of dollars in lost compensation, and a mountain of unnecessary stress. The VA system is not built for speed, and it certainly isn't built for forgiveness. It rewards persistence, precision, and knowing the rules most people never learn until it's too late.